Hello, and thank you for joining me for another Georgia Room presentation. I'm just going to wait a few extra minutes and to, to give everyone a little time to join. But um, even if there's not a whole lot of people, I will still be happy to go on because this is being recorded. So for those who could not join us today, I will be happy to distribute this recording so they can still have at least a little part of the program with them. Thank you. Hello.
Hey there.
I guess I can talk to you for most of the program. How are you? So I'm going to go ahead and get started. So this is being recorded. So I will go ahead and start the PowerPoint now. And as people come in, I'll be glad to review anything as well. Okay. So this is another virtual Georgia Room program. Um, we are currently doing all of our programs virtually until further notice, due to the current outbreak and, you know, recommendations by the local health departments. So you'll be seeing quite a few more of these. And until we can get into our new space at Schweitzer, once renovations are done, um, this is currently how our programming will be. So, for a little bit of library news, there are currently 7 branches open to the public. There are limited services, though. There's really no study rooms, no meeting rooms, and no sitting areas available. And starting on August 3rd, there will be 3 more branches that open for curbside only. This means they are not open to the public, but they will allow for curbside hold pickup. Now, holds are still being sent to these main 7 branches, but you can ask for your books to be sent to one of the additional 3 branches, which are Powder Springs, Stratton, and Sibley. Patrons visiting a library will be asked to do a temperature check upon entry, and masks are heavy or not. Masks are strongly encouraged, but they're not required, so you do not have to wear one. It's very much encouraged by us, and we do have masks if you need one or ask for one as well. So, and again, programs will remain virtual until further notice. This includes Georgia Room programs, story time, um, pretty much crafting, the any teen programs. All of this will remain virtual until further notice. So the current progress on the Georgia Room, this is the entrance. This was actually sent to me by another coworker, but there are a few more pictures that I took when Carolyn and I were able to take a mini tour of the new facilities, and it looks pretty great, to be honest. So this is going to be our meeting room. It's actually larger than our previous one, and I think we can fit probably a, a lot of people in here. It looks bigger than the picture. It's just how the angling is, but it's really nice and it's really open space. So this is actually the back of the room. That door that you can see in the picture, that actually is an exit only. But if you follow along that back wall, you'll go straight. It'll lead you straight to the bathrooms. So we're a lot closer to the public bathrooms than we were before in our previous location. So patrons can actually, instead of walking across the entire library, they can just go out the door and they'll be there momentarily. And we do have some shelves along the walls, like back here and along um, the side walls. But most of our shelves are going to be in the middle, as you can see, and they are quite long. I didn't exactly get a good angle with this picture, but you can see a lot of them ready to be completed. And I would like to point out this is what we can see from our front desk. So we can see all the way down at least this angle of the Georgia Room. And then we have a really great view. We have multiple windows overlooking the federal cemetery across the street. And all right, let me just go ahead and jump into genealogy technology. And this is our current topic. I did promise this since it was part of a poll we had a few weeks ago, and it was very close second to the Georgia Signers, which we did previously. So I did say I would do this one as well. So with my definition of technology, the tools and machines are used to solve problems and develop progress. And I developed this definition based on looking at a lot of different definitions and examples, like with Merriam-Webster, with the Oxford Dictionary. And I really think, I'm sure there's a better word, but this is when I refer to technology in this program, this is what I mean. So, basics for the researcher. This is what everyone should have when they're doing research. A pencil is really good to have when you're working with the archives. A lot of archives prefer you only have pencils because they cause less damage to the materials. And you can also have a pen. I myself am a pen user. I'm really bad about it. I do try and keep a pencil on me at all times, but I enjoy pens because they're easier to write with. I like how they write more smoothly. Um, I always tend to break pencils. So you can have a pen, just be aware that archives will not allow you to have them. So those are more for your own personal research instead of going and visiting an archive. You want to have some sort of notebook or scratch paper for your ideas or brainstorming or writing something down that you say you'll remember, but it's likely not going to happen. Um, and I speak from experience. So it always helps to have scratch paper, and it's very likely that the library or archive has that as well. Let's see. All right. So, and I can stop and review anything that you need as well. Hello? Hello? Can everyone hear me? Okay, so I'll keep going, but I can stop at any time as well. Um, I also like to talk about the microform. A lot of archives still use this to an extent. They may not be available at this time due to current health conditions, but they are still they are still around. And older machines typically only allow for printing, but the newer machines, as you can see on the right, will be connected to a computer monitor, and you are able to save to a flash drive or save it as a PDF or a JPEG file, and you can email it to yourself as well. Now, many archives still have historical records and newspapers on film, and you can actually do interlibrary loans for certain archives and receive their records as well for older books and collections. And currently, Family Search has the largest digitized collection of genealogical records with over 2 million rolls. And that was part of why they used to have a process for interlibrary loan for their own collection, but they canceled it and decided to digitize their entire collection. And I believe they finished or close to finishing. And that's where all the digitized images originated on their website. So with digital technology, I always encourage people to have their own USB or jump drives or flash drives. However, the lingo is, it's always helpful to have that. Um, Also, have a camera or smartphone. I know not everybody has a smartphone. You can get cheap ones for like $20 at the store, but I encourage them for at least taking pictures on the go, so you can at least see the page when you get home later, and you can always go and find um, that title at another location, or if you need to go back and cite it, that also helps as well. With computers, even though a lot of people do come into the libraries to use the computers, I do encourage, if you are doing long-term research, to get your own computer. Um, and I will touch on that on the next slide. But moving on, I do want to talk about cloud storage is very good to have, and most email accounts do have it. And yes, and speaking of email, it also helps to have an email account to use for correspondence. even if it's just a throwaway email, as long as you know where it is and how to log in. And you can choose who you give that email address to, so you don't get a lot of spam, and you don't have to give it out to anyone you don't want to. I myself have a couple different emails that I use for different purposes. Like I have my own work email, but I also have one that I use specifically for genealogy and online forums, so I can talk to others and collaborate on different ideas. It also helps to have some sort of recording technology, whether it's a cassette player. You can also use a smartphone for this. If you ever need to record an oral history or an oral interview with somebody, it helps to have that. If you don't have anything to write with, and I don't encourage doing this in the middle of the archive, but if you find a quiet corner, maybe you can vocalize your own ideas and your own thoughts, and play it back later. And also, if you are investing in a computer, you may also want to invest in an external hard drive. And you can get these for as low as 500 gigs to quite a high amount. And this just helps store videos, photos, and larger files, so you don't just clog up a computer that way. So with computers, I did want to touch on Chromebooks and laptops because some people think they're one and the same. Chromebooks are actually safer to use if you're not very computer savvy. They are about the same price, but Chromebooks are connected directly to the Google Cloud. So you don't have to worry about losing anything on the computer. Everything is going onto the cloud. With your PC and your Mac, I believe the Mac connects straight to the iCloud for Apple. I'm not very familiar with Mac computers, but my coworker is, so I can check in with her if you have any questions. Um, I personally prefer Windows laptops because it allows you to do more, and you can actually download files to it. With the Chromebook, you can only use um, you can only use what's available in the App Store. But with Windows laptops, you can actually download family tree builders. And you can also use tablets, iPads, and like the Windows Surface tablets. Those are good for at least online searching, and using the cloud as well. So with cloud storage, it's one of the greatest things you can use for research. It's already connected to most email accounts. If you have a Gmail, you automatically have Google Drive. If you have the Apple version, sorry, you already have the iCloud. We use Dropbox between all the Georgia Room staff so we can coordinate on different programs, research, pretty much anything that we do. We are all connected to the same Dropbox so we can easily interact without constant email back and forth. And with OneNote, if you already have a Microsoft account, let's say you have a Windows 7 or a Windows 10 computer, then you already have a OneDrive and a OneNote account. And Evernote is one I've seen a lot of people talk about. I don't use it that often, but I know a lot of genealogists enjoy using it because they're able to screenshot and tag and organize their online searches that way as well. Right.
I'm listening.
Oh, and if you could please just mute your mics for right now, unless you have a question. So with Evernote and OneDrive, well, this is OneNote, but it is part of OneDrive. They both allow for mobile apps and online use. You are able to use them both on Windows and Windows PCs, but you can also use Evernote if you have a Mac, and both are beneficial for genealogical research. With Evernote, it's a lot of online software, but You can use it with web-based services. You can use it for screen clipping and digital archiving. With OneNote, it mainly only works with a Microsoft account, so you will need to invest in one of those. But if not, Evernote is a good alternative. So they both sync automatically when they're connected to the internet. But again, with OneDrive, with OneNote, it only goes through OneDrive. With Evernote, it's whenever you are connected. So, and with Evernote it allows for tagging each note, so you can actually sort your research as you go, and you can always go back and look through, like, say, this tag for this surname and this tag for maybe this family tree, and you can see what information you've actually found related. With OneNote, you can actually mix the medium, so you can have text, you can have photos, graphics, you can even annotate as you go there, and it all includes it in the same document. Whereas with Evernote, to my knowledge, it does not do that. But I've only been using Evernote for about a month now. Let's see. And both are free, but with OneNote, you can either purchase the package for $150 one time. You can also subscribe to the Microsoft 365. It's for a personal account, it's $6.99 a month or $70 a year. And for a family account, which gives you 6 accounts total, it's $9.99 a month or $100 a year. And with Evernote, it's free. It gives you 60 megabytes for free. Or I'm sorry, megabytes. It gives you 60 megabytes of storage for free. And the premium goes up a little bit more, I believe. So I actually pulled this from Family Tree magazine. And this is kind of what I just talked about, but with screenshots, if you have OneDrive embedded into your computer, like I do because I have a Windows PC, when you take a screenshot, it will actually save it automatically to the cloud for you. So you don't have to worry about copying and pasting it and saving it as a picture and doing all of that. It automatically saves it for you, and you can always go back and look at it by date. And I'm not encouraging you to have to choose one or the other. You can use both. You can use different ones. I have used multiple different cloud storage. I use OneDrive for my graduate school, but I also use Google Drive for just personal work. And I have a different Google Drive account just for work by itself. And like I mentioned before, the Georgia Room does use Dropbox. So it really depends on how your habits work. I encourage you to check it out. You may find that both work for you, or maybe neither work for you, and you find another one to use as well. So a lot of people don't really mention this, but with scanners, I encourage people to, if they can afford it in their budget. I'm not saying that you have to go and drop, $100 on a scanner right now, but if you ever want to invest in a good piece of technology, I would encourage either a flatbed scanner or a portable scanner like the one pictured here. You want a flatbed for scanning books, and the archive may have one available for you. You can also take pictures with your phone as well. With portable scanners, it's good for just single documents, so you can carry all of your archive with you. For example, if you have pictures or old letters, you can scan them into your computer and bring it with you as you research. And most portable scanners are between 50 and 100. The one pictured here, I actually invested in myself, and it was only 50. And it's also good for everyday use. So you can use it for organizing receipts, notes, letters, bills, things like that. So this is just another piece of technology to keep in mind. And this is one that I come back to every once in a while. It is a portable overhead document scanner, and you just set it up and lay it out, and you can pack it up and carry it with you, but it will automatically scan things for you, including books. I'm not sure how popular it is yet with most archives, but it is one thing to consider if you just want to quickly scan books. I believe it does a page a second, but it's just another thing to keep in mind. So with GEDCOM files, I'm not really sure how to shorten that, GEDCOM, but they are the standardized file type used in the creation and sharing of digital family trees. Most sites can import and export these files. Ancestry does this. Family Search does this. I know WikiTree does this. And the information is connected through the metadata. You do not need to worry about the layout that I have pictured here. Is just something for those who might be familiar with development, with any kind of cataloging or code writing. There we go. But this is kind of how it's pictured. Now, they are made to be very flexible, depending on the sources and the encoding of the website in question, or even the software in question. So when you're importing it into a new location, it may leave out some information. So that would be something you want to watch out for. But it does carry over. It usually carries over the names and dates and locations pretty well. So with family tree makers, they employ the GEDCOM files, and different models include their own additions. So some you can add pictures, others you can add notes. With certain ones you can add siblings. It really depends on which kind you use. You can buy the software or you can build it online. Like if you know Ancestry family trees, you can build it there. WikiTree and Jenny kind of have a joint tree where you build it alongside other people and to make a global family tree. You can buy software like Family Tree Builder. I have used an older version of Family Tree Maker myself. Um, you just have to kind of practice with how different layouts work. With Roots Magic, they allow you to make to-do lists for where you want to find and research for individuals and families. And there's actually an app that you can work in conjunction with Roots Magic, and I'll touch on that just in, I believe it's the next slide. But you can actually also, you can buy, I'm sorry, not buy, you can download and print free forms, like free blank family trees, blank charts, blank checklists. You can download these for free. Ancestry has a lot for free. And when I was using the Family Tree Magazine website, it claims to have 61 different forms. I'm not sure how they have 61 different forms, but they do have they have listed 61 forms for free download, so you don't need to subscribe to the website. You can just go there and you can download them yourself. So with online resources, you can always use genealogy databases. I know if you've ever been to the Georgia Room, we talk a lot about Ancestry. We also have Family Search, and Cindy's List is a good place to find other links to categories and topics and regions that you're looking for. So it's just another tool that you can use. And then with the Family Tree Magazine website, I use this to look at different trends in genealogy, especially since we don't get to really be in person with our patrons anymore. So it's a good place to look and see what's going on. You can also use these newspaper archives. Google Newspapers has an amazing amount of newspapers available. So you can also search their archives for free. With newspapers.com, I believe it's a 7-day free trial, but it does have quite a bit uploaded there as well. I would also like to recommend the National Archives has a genealogy section, as does the Library of Congress. And then the New York Public Library has a very large digital collection of over 750,000 documents. You can also check with Find My Past, which includes a lot of British documents. With the New England Historical and Genealogical Society, they have a lot of older records already digitized. And there was one that I found quite amusing, which is just called IcelandicRoots.com. And it's just for people with Icelandic roots, but it's very thorough. And I was just searching along their site, and I almost wished I was Icelandic because there was a lot of information to be found there. So with social media, you can use it to connect with different genealogy Facebook groups. There's always different groups going up every day, and you can always check it out and see who's been able to find what, who's been looking where, and things like that. You can also look at archive and libraries' social media pages. I know with, which one was it? With certain archive pages, as they post, they say, oh, this archive just went up, or this collection just went up. These are what we are working on now. So they usually offer news and updates as well as advice for new and regular researchers. So it always helps to check out social media, even if you don't use social media. You can still even if you don't use it yourself, you can still use it to browse what other information is out there. There are also Twitter accounts of well-known genealogists and historical researchers where they will give advice and updates for different things. Let me see. Yes, and with Pinterest boards, I don't use Pinterest that much, but I know others do, and you can actually sort links there as well. And you can find how other people have sorted their Pinterest boards based on their own research. So for those who do have smartphones, there are quite a few smartphone apps you can use for your genealogy. So with cemetery research, there is a Find a Grave app, and there's a Billion Graves app that you can just pull up on your phone, and you can record things. Even if you're in the cemetery, you can actually try and find that grave within the cemetery. So with tree making and managing, you can use the Family Search, Family Tree, and then they also have Family Search Memories, which allow you to upload photos and connect them to the people on your tree. And you have the Ancestry app, and you also have Ancestry DNA. So it's with just the Ancestry app, you can manage and add to your tree, but with Ancestry DNA, you can speak to other people who have taken the DNA test and connect with them in real time. There's also a Find My Past app, a MyHeritage app, and the Roots Magic app coordinates with your software. So as you're updating it on your phone, it will connect it back to wherever you have it on your computer, and it'll update there at the same time. So just some tips for online research. You do want to have documents and photos stored in at least 2 places. For example, you may want to upload it to the cloud and then also store it on an external hard drive. You want to keep individual surname files on the flash drive, just like you would have physical files in your research and in your notebooks. And it's just a way to stay organized when you're doing your research, because it can get to be a handful the further back you go in your tree. And then I was actually told about this, that you can color code the files on your computer with Folder Rico, and it does offer a free trial. It may be helpful for those who, like me, are visual learners and pay attention when it's slightly different, but it is just something to keep in mind. All right, any questions or concerns? And you're welcome to ask in the chat as well. Sorry, I can't hear anybody if they're talking. Okay. Well, thank you for. Oh, yes. Oh, thank you, Lynn. I'm glad I was able to share this with somebody today. Um, if you need to connect with us, these are our two emails right now. With Georgia 2, it actually goes to all four of us, and my email is right below that. And we are still determining what programs we'll have in August. Things are changing a little bit around here, so hopefully we'll have some news up on the Georgia Room page shortly. And by shortly, I mean this week or next week. So I hope everybody enjoyed, and yes, it's a little bit of an adventure trying to do virtual programming and connecting with it as well. So we're hoping to get better each time we do it. So thank you for having me, and I hope that I can answer any questions that you have now or in the future. All right, thank you.